Okay, so here is the map of the area around the Stone Tooth. You got this image earlier on, I believe, when Swoops and you kind of conspired together to come up with some sort of I don't know, not quite a
Lay of the
map, but a
land.
lay of the land. That's a good way of putting it. So the town that you came from, Blasingdale, is down at the other end of this trail, although it is further than that. It's kind of generally south of you. And I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about what each of these represents and where you are, and then we'll get started. Nathaniel, welcome. Glad that you're here. So this one here, point A, is where you left the cartographer that you hired, as well as the guard Kevin Bonewolf, in a camp that was hidden off of the main path. Last you know, they were there, but you of course haven't seen them since because you've been in a mountain.
We did tell them to wait for a short period of time. I think it was like
week.
2 days.
No,
Yeah,
no,
so they should.
We told them to wait a week because we thought we were going to be in there longer. Oh, you guys.
no,
I
we
I
paid
was
them
not
for a week, but that was including the 2 days it would take them to get back if they had to start heading back.
Yes, it
Regardless,
is.
they should still be there.
Yes.
We'll see. Yeah.
Theoretically, if either they're orc food or not.
I
We'll-
wouldn't blame
we'll
them
see.
if they took off once they spotted the orcs.
I honestly don't care about either of them. I more care about Clarion's beloved donkey, which we need to make
Yeah,
sure
we
is
have
safe.
to
Pretty
get
Foot, of course.
back.
We need to protect Prettyfoot. That is the next objective as far as I'm concerned.
So point B here was the kind of main entrance of the forge of the Citadel. It wasn't immediately obvious at first, but like it is now that orcs have sort of cleared out the path. So that was the main entrance that you did not go through, but you do know where it's at. Point C here is the chimney that you all kind of shimmied down to get into the orcish base. And
Is
that
there
was
any
the
smoke
start of
coming
your...
out of it? So is smoke still coming out of it now?
Is smoke still coming out of it now? Good point.
Yeah, we didn't kill all the orcs.
I'm
that
gonna
were
say
part of
yeah.
that.
I'm gonna say yes.
We literally killed every orc we've encountered.
That's true. You killed a lot of orcs.
They were the ones in that room where we first met the Sturges that were looking at us through the bars.
Oh yeah,
and
we
were
didn't
just
kill
like
them
taunting
because we
us,
couldn't
and then they
get
walked
them.
away.
And other
Yeah.
things have been killing orcs as well. Like there have been
Fair.
a lot of orc deaths in here.
This is true.
Now I know
But
this
literally
runs.
The only reason those orcs didn't die is because they were on the other side of the bars.
We've got 10 more gold to our PCs. Thank you very much, Kistrel. So point D here, sort of on the slopes of the mountain. I know this kind of doesn't fit with the mental image that some folks had, and that's totally okay. That is the exit, the quote-unquote secret tunnel exit that you found, that Kreetha directed you towards, which is where you noticed there was an army of orcs approaching in the first place. An army that numbers at least in the hundreds, potentially in the thousands. So unfortunately, they had to turn around and go back. And finally, point E here is where you all wash up after you negotiated with the dragon and took an underwater passage with the help of a water-breathing spell to get out to this lake that is off to the east of the mountain proper. You wash up sort of on the stream. Record scratch. I bet you're wondering how we got here. And
It's
so first off, I'm going to ask in a moment what sort of everyone's initial reaction is as you are coming out of the lake and onto the shore. But before I do, Gale, as you are walking, crawling, trudging up onto the shore, you find that something has hooked around your leg. Like, you can feel it, it's dragging at you. You didn't feel it in the current of the water, but now that you're out, you feel something like dragging at your leg. And when you reach down, you find a leather strap has somehow hooked its way around your foot. And as you sort of feel around for what is this, you find that the strap attaches to the hilt of a dagger.
Weird. Charlotte's gonna, as soon as she like feels along this weird leather strap, she's like, did one of my pouches come undone or something? And then she feels the hilt of a weapon. She's like, She's gonna just call out to like, hey guys, what is this thing? And she's not gonna pick it up. She's gonna like point at it.
That's a dagger.
It's a dagger, and you note on the. Actually, it's sheathed at the moment. Do you leave it in the sheath? Do you unsheath it? What do you do?
I'm gonna unhook the leather strap from around my foot, and then holding it by the leather strap, which I assume is attached to the sheath that it's sheathed in. Just kind of hold up and be like, "Is this somebody's, or did I accidentally steal something from the dragon?"
We might have accidentally stolen something from the dragon. It's possible. Yeah, I can hear the squint in your voice, but I can also see the squint in your face. So,
all right. So for now, Charlotte's just gonna carry it with her to getting to the actual shore of this lake. She's sending Scoots out to do a perimeter check for orcs in the immediate area. He's a tiny crab.
I'll go ahead and get. Oh, that's right. He's not.
he's small.
He's not flying around anymore. He's a teeny little crab.
Little
Okay,
crabs.
we'll get a perception check from him in a bit.
Does have blind sight, but only out to 30 feet.
Baby.
Yeah, we'll get a perception check off of him in a bit. So you pull the dagger. You see it. You kind of hang on to it for a second. Lore says that it's a dagger. What is Calder's first action as he gets up out of the water?
Calder has a strength of 8, so I imagine that the task of swimming has been particularly unpleasant for him. So once he sees the surface and everyone starts swimming, he's just gonna like, oh, I can stop fighting this now, and he'll use shape water to make a platform of ice under him that he can just ride all the way to the surface.
Just come on up. That
so
makes
he'll
perfect
like
sense.
emerge at the top, bobbing on a small glacier. There he'll stand up and then just again weaving his cantrips, he'll like shape an ice bridge for him to walk all the way to the shore.
So the area you're
and then
at,
once on the shore, he will dry himself by shoving the water off of him.
the area that you are at is a freshwater lake in a fairly dense forest. You can still see sort of smoke in the air above the trees, but it's hard to see anything else beyond the trees because they're kind of blocking the view of most anything else. Kreetha, I imagine you and Stinky are probably the first two out, since Stinky is theoretically pretty good at swimming, even though he doesn't actually technically have a swim speed.
Which is stupid, but that's fine. Kreetha is still probably in a lot of pain because we're coming out of the water and her hands are just acid burnt.
That's right. You were wounded pretty severely in an intimidation trick by the dragon or attempt.
Did you see the little sketch I did of her?
I did. I love it. I'll make sure to put it into the rotation for
yeah. So like she doesn't really have workable hands right now. They're pretty acid burnt. You know, all 10 points of that damage were right here. You know, her clothes are kind of in areas and she was trying not to touch.
Drips of acid probably would have eaten holes in certain parts of the clothing. Yeah, no good.
Yeah, so Stinky would come out of the water and she would kind of try and get off of Stinky and kind of collapse sitting on the ground, kind of wet, and just holding her hands and just sitting. There's a lot that happened. The dragon was terrifying. Kreetha hurts and is a little traumatized, so she's not really doing anything aside from sitting. Like, Stinky is kind of gently kind of nudging and trying to figure out like what's going on, but you know, aside from that, she's just sitting, you know, with kind of holding her hands out.
So you're currently at point E on the map. What is the immediate game plan? Let's go from the bottom up this time. Let's start with M. What's the team's sort of game plan in the next few hours? We'll say that you came out onto the shore, and we'll say it's about 2 to 3 hours until sunset. So you've got a little bit of daylight still left to go.
Well, I think the start of the game plan would be figure out where the fuck we are, because none of us actually understand the woods generally, or at least the people who went in with us don't understand the woods generally. So it's either going to be like, hey, Scoots and or Kretha, where the fuck are we?
Makes sense to me. Anyone who wants to make a survival check can make that to get some bearings on north, south, east, and west.
Yeah.
I will not. I believe Calder will be doing something different. He's going to be focusing on care and cleanliness, making sure everyone is like so that no one is going to catch an infection from horrible bog water. So he's going to be like He's going to be using his shape water cantrip to purify the water on everyone and like help them like get dry and like clean, and so they're not. So we can recover from this quickly as opposed to feeling like soaked and bogged down.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
I would like to make a medicine check. Not that she has medicine, but I can make an unsupported medicine check with my wisdom.
Let's start with a survival check for anybody who's attempting to gain direction. We'll do other checks in a second as well.
That failed anyway.
Scoots is looking
Wow.
around,
My
but
survival.
in this form, Scoots is bad at survival.
Wow.
Kretha's not doing so good.
No, Kretha's in a lot of pain. It makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, I'm gonna try it, but I make no promises.
Apparently, Calder actually does know what's going on.
As does Lore. So kind of you're all looking around like where you can tell where the mountain is, right? That's easy enough to see. It's up above the tree line, but you're like, okay, so where are we and how far? And you figure that yes, town is going to be to the south or southwest, and you're pretty sure you're more or less directly east of the front entrance to the Stone Tooth. And more importantly, those of you who are looking around notice that you don't see any traces of orcs in this area. You don't find any orc footprints. You don't find any, chopped down trees or anything like that. It seems, with a couple of 17s, that this area so far has not been overtaken by orcs.
We're also probably in that early twilight that happens when you're like that close to a mountain on its eastern side when it's that late in the day.
That's true. It's probably pretty dark over here. The sun's probably behind the mountain at this point.
Or
Oh wait, no, west is the other. Yeah, that's right. I know my east from west
at this point. Yeah. So, while we can still move it, because it's that prolonged twilight that happens.
Hate that part.
So we probably will be able to go for a while, but more or less this is like our first chance to breathe after we just got out of a dragon. So it's like let's reassess and make sure everyone's okay.
Speaking of breathing,
Meepo is going to go ahead and approach Kretha, and will go ahead and drop the. Remind me again how much healing he gets from Lay on Hands, because I don't think he used it last time.
5 points per level.
5 points per level. Excellent. And you got what, like 10 damage on?
Yeah, it's not on my sheet for some reason.
That's yeah.
But yes, I remember it was 10 damage.
He will come up to you, and he will, as Kretha is kind of kneeling on the ground and clutching her hands in pain, Meepo will sort of calmly walk up to her and put his scaled hand on top of hers. It will glow for a moment, and when the glow reduces, the pain is gone, and nothing but healthy flesh is underneath.
Meepo is the MVP. I mean, her outfit looks horrible and her arm things are gone, but yeah.
Sorry, I didn't take mending.
I've got it, says Charlotte, who is at this point has moved over to a tree with a low-hanging branch, is swinging her knees over it and hanging upside down. She's like, this water-breathing thing's going to wear off, and I don't want water in my lungs when it does.
That's the thing I have to worry
Gross.
about? Uh-oh.
That's a good point.
I've never had any issue with it.
The magic does protect you somewhat.
But as soon as Charlotte's done with that, she'll come over and start mending Kretha's clothes.
Bonus.
Also, can you do my collar I'll pull where it dipped acid on my neck.
Yeah.
Gross. Ugh.
Did anything else get hooked or latched onto someone on their way out? Like, because the dagger, the belt got wrapped around my, Is there anything else on the shore that we might have dragged out here with us?
My face got slapped by something that I'm going to assume was algae because the other options are not pleasant.
Yeah, there's a big old bed of like some sort of lake kelp that looked like it was trying to grab Calder for a second there. But no, you don't see any other valuables or any other anything really on the shore around you, except for like your own stuff that you might have to gather up a little bit.
I'm asking if we're retconning the sword that appeared at the very end of last session.
You don't see a sword, oddly enough.
Okay.
Floated away.
So yes.
So yes, no one saw it. Gotcha. If it was ever there.
I don't want to be here when the dragon notices.
You definitely remember that there was a big ass sword that was sort of beginning to float, or beginning to sink in your direction before you left, but then you kind of didn't pay any attention to it, and you do not see it now.
We were distracted by more important things,
like not dying.
Yeah.
So which way do we go now? This is not the way that we came. I came in where the orcs are now. The door.
Well, our camp. Well, we had a camp that is, I think, south and west of here.
Yeah, probably.
Go there.
Back along the trail. Do we want to?
I don't
I
think we
don't
want
want
to
to
go.
climb up the whole mountain again. But...
I think we should go around the mountain, heading due south at first, and once we can start seeing those mountain trails again, we can try and we'll head west and start relocating that group.
Yeah.
I'm presently about 40% sure that at least one of them has fucked off from the orc proximity, but that's about it.
Possibly.
Caritha is looking kind of strange-eyed because, you know, she got out of the mountain with you, but this is kind of like above and beyond. Like at this point, she's not sure what to do. Does she keep going with you guys? Does she try and make her way alone past the orc army to get back to where she was supposed to be? So she is thinking thoughts and trying to
Caritha,
think of things.
Caritha, if you have nothing better to do, I think it would be okay if you stuck with us until we find ourselves closer to civilization.
Safer in numbers with orcs around.
And the town at least has some defenses. They have a militia, they have guards, they have bodies.
That is true. I don't know how happy they'll be about Goblin there, but...
If they don't, I have a very strong word to say in response to that word being fireball, so don't worry.
And I was gonna say, the three of us outrank the person in charge of the town, so...
So there's that.
As established in the, I believe, first session in this module.
Caritha has no way of knowing that.
So we'll...
Caritha doesn't know we're nobles.
No, Caritha knows nothing. Like,
if you're with us, no one should fuck with you.
Yeah. Calder at that point will will remove a glove on his hand to show off, like the oversized glove to show his signet ring.
you have... What are you?
I'm the 8th son of Duke Albrecht Cheval.
A duke's son!
A lord? What is your title?
Legitimate? Illegitimate?
Sorry, lake water.
I am a legitimized bastard.
Oh, that's
what everyone else in the party
impressive.
says too. That Calder,
is
he's a legitimized bastard.
No,
So
that's
impressive.
legitimate. I'm legitimized. So
That was a hell of a question, Caritha.
Eight children? That's a
I
lot.
find it
mean,
refreshingly direct.
I mean, I was assuming that. I mean, he's not goblin. They don't breed like
My
Like
father
halflings?
is.
rabbits. So I there's a
father
lot
is human.
of
I'm
a
aware of
lot
what
of
I am.
that going on.
Gross.
So, you know, there's a lot more illegitimate than legitimate, if you catch my drift.
Like after a while, Calder is like scratching at his forehead. It's the waterlog.
Are you a noble, Kreetha?
Eh,
What does that mean?
well, no, and yes, I'm not. You said legitimized. I'm not legitimized, as it were. But I am quite possibly the child of the chieftain. But that's
You know,
we don't talk about it.
that
you
would be
know?
the second goblin chieftain's child that we know.
Really?
You've heard us talk about Echo.
Small world.
Yeah.
But Echo's not. From what I understand about Echoes, he's not from anywhere near the same place you're from.
No, he
No.
came from the there was like he was like Citadel
Sunless
bred.
Citadel. Yeah.
No, those are the
and a circus in Neverwinter.
I believe those
Yeah.
are the. I believe Echo's tribe is the Akiri, and Kreetha's Batiri.
So you're kind of making your way, and make sure that I heard this correctly. It sounds like you're heading due south for a bit, which is actually fairly easy. I'm not going to require a survival check or anything like that. You are keeping the mountain as it passes behind you, admittedly, but you're keeping it to your right, and that makes it a lot easier to sort of navigate. So I am going to jump back into the in-game thing. There is a arrow here that I just put in that shows in the 2.5 hours until things start to get dark, like actually dark, you make it to about that point. So you are more or less due east of the vents that you climbed down, but it is coming up on nighttime. Do you push on, or do you stop and set up camp for the night?
Well, as far as our timing goes, it's only been about 4 hours since we all woke up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have plenty of energy. Like I'm still because we were geared up to maybe fight a dragon. I'm still relatively fresh.
All of us who see can see in the dark.
Yeah, it doesn't make much difference to me.
Goodbye, sunlight. I miss you already.
It still feels less cloying. It's open. There's trees. There's
a
sky.
sky.
There's rocks, and Charlotte trips over one. God fucking damn it.
And it's actually...
You know, if you like, you can ride Stinky.
I am going to take you up on that offer this time.
All right, come on up here.
Wait, I'm the same size as Stinky. Can Stinky carry me?
Strong boy. Let me get down. I will walk. Stinky strong boy.
I
we're both
don't
medium
think that a
creatures.
medium-sized creature can ride a medium-sized
with a strength of
creature.
14. Okay, so here's how this goes. So yes, Kreetha absolutely makes the offer, and Charlotte says yes. I think this is a great plan. Gets
Sits side
sort of
saddle.
sitting on Stinky, and Stinky's like. And Stinky kind of looks balefully up at Kreetha and looks back down and just kind of slumps down into a seated position so that Charlotte just tumbles right off the back.
You weren't eating rocks when you were swimming.
It might also
I am
be that
sorry.
she's a good. It's
Are you
also
calling
that she's
me
a good
heavy?
foot.
Whoa.
I'm thinking more that you're a foot and a half. You're a foot and a half taller than her.
Oh no, that makes sense. I just thought magical construct, maybe it didn't follow the same physics rules as like a mule. But all right, I'll walk. Now my robes are just sticky.
That's
Immediately picks up some of the dust and dirt on the ground.
Oh yeah, that's great. Lore will offer an arm to Charlotte verbally if you want it,
Yes, please.
and will like attempt to help get some of the stickiness off because I get it. Like this is gross.
it's not that sticky. Like it's sticky, but it doesn't have like you don't get any membrane that comes off.
Yeah,
or
it's not-
anything
it's not,
unless
like,
he was
gooey,
shedding.
slimy.
Yeah, it's not gooey
Like it
or
would
slimy.
leave
It's
moisture.
just
It would leave
kind of-
moisture, but not a residue.
just kind of sticky.
Right.
Not for real, but Lore just yeets Charlotte back in the water, helps her out. Very good.
So
Not
you're
for
Oh,
pretty,
and
real,
when
though.
he's in the water, he's not sticky at all. He's actually quite slick. So it was very hard for Kreitha to hold on to him in the water with no working hands.
so what's
Uh,
the
it's
plan
about
once you
at
hit
this point-
sundown? Go ahead.
I think at this point we should start trying to keep the mountain on our right as we make like a gentle arc south of the mountain, because that's the next goal.
So at this point, Charlotte is also going to start every like 5 minutes or so, stopping and then pointing in every cardinal direction and sending off a message specifically to Kevin Bonewolf. So only Kevin Bonewolf will hear it if he's within range, to say,
Oh.
Kevin, respond if you can hear this. Kevin, respond if you can hear this.
What is the range?
It's only
that
100
spell?
feet.
It's 100 feet. Yeah, you don't get
But-
anything.
Yeah,
But
but she's trying.
I applaud the creativity. Yes. What is going on with all of you right now? Anyway, you've all seemed to have found a new favorite word. Okay, so it's dark. You're in a dense forest. Let's go ahead and make survival checks. We do have a +2 currently on the board.
Excellent.
Let's make survival checks for anyone who is attempting to do the navigation.
Huh.
Oh my god. Okay.
Calder, are you
so
taking the +2?
It'll make mine a 15.
that was in the corner of my eye, and I thought for a moment that there was like a giant bug on my screen.
That's
I did
terrifying.
like aggressively roll that one.
That scared me. Oh my god. Okay, so
Okay.
we're rolling survival, right? Because I got distracted by the.
Yes.
I'm
you're
gonna.
rolling
I would
survival.
like to give Kreitha the
Terrifying.
8 actions so that she can have advantage.
I mean, I rolled a 23,
Go
but
go ahead and roll again, Kreitha. You never know. You might get better.
Sure. I am no longer hurting, so it does help.
Not bad. So you'll probably, I imagine, take the 23.
I'll take the 23. Yeah.
So to be clear, you're kind of coming down in an arc in this direction, yeah?
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Awesome.
And once we're due south of the mountain, we'll go due west, and that should put us in proximity of where we
Gotcha.
camped.
Gotcha. Yes. Okay.
Can I draw on this map?
I have it currently locked so that only I can draw on it. I'm sure there's a way that I can let you do so, but I don't know exactly how to do it.
That is absolutely something we should weaponize in a future game.
Yes.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, this is where our camp was.
Because it was before the bend.
It was before the bend.
Because specifically I sent swoops ahead, and there were orcs waiting on the bend.
River bend.
Yes. I guess maybe it was more like I had marked it A, but I may have gotten it slightly off. It's not quite
Yeah,
as
it
far
wasn't
south.
that close to the opening.
Yeah, we didn't go beyond the smokestack and then turn back to it.
It's more like here, we'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is about
Yeah, about right. Yeah.
about right.
So we got a little
Yep,
bit
yep.
more curving
Honestly,
of an arc
like I
to
thought
get
we,
up there.
I remember we tracked up that trail pretty significantly. I thought we were like right above the W in town.
There we go.
It was along the trail.
No,
we
it
had
was
found-
right off the trail, yeah.
It was south and beyond the trail, and it was. I do not think it was that close.
It was 6 months ago.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Do we want to? So this is Charlotte asking. Do we want to try to make our way back to that camp?
I mean, we're not going
Yes.
to leave them alone in the middle of nowhere, especially with orcs around, right?
I am not leaving my horse or my horse, my belongings, or Prettyfoot in the hands of Kevin Bonewolf.
Pretty
It's been
foot.
2 days. He probably already ate them.
Damn lake water.
And then I get to kill Kevin Bonewolf because I will not tolerate Prettyfoot's demise.
I'm gonna look at
Prettyfoot is a mule.
Kreitha, and I'm gonna go. Yes, and
Prettyfoot is-
no. It's a
Prettyfoot is-
mule,
It's Clarions.
and it was Clarions.
Oh. Well, no, that's a lot
If Bonewolf,
sadder than.
if Bonewolf ate Prettyfoot, Bonewolf will not enjoy what happens next.
So, following Kreitha, you are able to make your way due south of the Stone Tooth. You figure you're probably, I don't
I'm
know.
not really serious. I'm irritated.
You probably guess you're a half a mile to a mile south of the Stone Tooth Mountain. The going has been very slow. This is very sort of dense underbrush. At the point where we're at with
He's
the
not
arrow,
enjoying it.
You have been going for several hours at that time, and it will at that time you'll want to either go ahead and take a rest or push on, potentially gaining a level of exhaustion if you decide to like go through the night and through the next day. That's fine, but when you get to where you are going, you'll end up with a point of exhaustion. What
And
do you
along our
do?
route so far, we haven't seen any signs of orcs on this side
No.
of the forest. Okay.
No, this area seems to be, the area that you're in right now seems to be clean of any orcish influence for the time being.
With Kretha's 23, is it reasonable that Kretha could probably find a sign of another being out here that isn't an orc?
What did you have in mind?
Like, I don't know. I imagine that over the course of 2 days, they've had to, get food or relieve themselves.
This area of the woods seems pretty unspoiled, though as you get closer to the east where the road is, you're probably likely to see more traces of folks. But like out here is kind of far away from where the orcs are, and kind of far away from where any of the townsfolk would wander.
And a little far away from the camp. So
Also true.
Yeah, the goal is to find the camp.
Ooh.
So we're probably, let's see, it was
Charlotte votes that we camp because it seems relatively safe in this part, and I could change Scoots back into Swoops, which would make looking for Kevin and our cartographer
A
and
little bit
Prettyfoot a
easier.
lot easier.
That seems reasonable to me.
It's just how long do we want to rest? Do we want to take an hour, or do we want to go to sleep? You said if we push on without a long rest, we would be risking exhaustion at this point.
Yes, it would be essentially a forced march, which is fine. It just means that you would get to the evening with a little bit more distance under your belt and a level of exhaustion until you took a long rest.
Oh, Charlotte, we should check to see if those commoners actually managed to get out, or if they like tripped down the mountainside or something too.
What would be?
Like, Calder takes a minute to remember who the hell you're talking about. Oh, them.
We're south of the chimney, so
Hopefully they got like
Yeah.
this would be the direction they went in if that's the towns of.
Just
or
keep
we
it-
would cross it in the next leg, whatever direction they to head directly back to town.
wait, I have to ask
They
questions.
were a pair of miners that went out hunting for orc hands, so they might be reasonably capable.
I get that, but you said commoners. That suggests to me that everyone that everyone is. Are you all not? Is there?
Didn't we just
no.
have this conversation? I thought we just had this conversation like 3
I'm
hours
an
We
ago.
had a
normal.
conversation
Well,
about
I'll point-
Calder.
Well, I'll point to
Obviously,
Gail. We are nobility. The bot
All
was
of you.
clear. All three of us are nobility. Yes.
They just send you out like that?
Meepo isn't
Send is a-
nobility.
Send is a
Well-
strong.
So that everybody
Wow.
except for Meepo,
Meepo-
is nobility.
No, Meepo, you're a knight. You've been knighted. You are technically nobility.
Oh, right.
Well, it's called as lesser nobility, but yes, you still are.
Congratulations, Meepo. That is important.
I'll very like Calder will very proudly put a hand on shoulder and like will show that the crest on the ring is the same as the crest on Meepo's armor.
Oh.
He's sworn to my family. I'll pat him on the shoulder very proudly.
Congratulations. It's always fantastic when you find such good help.
Meepo has become a very good friend.
So yes, if you're asking for more, are we settling down for a rest?
I think we should. Having the bat's eye view, as it were, would be useful.
Charlotte is going to cast alarm around where we're setting up.
Can I spend some hit die from the short rest to heal some of my damage,
Yes, you can.
please?
So you take an hour,
Ritually.
you sit down. Let's see. You've probably been walking for a total of about
Come on!
wow minimum.
I'll spend a second hit die.
Still
Okay,
garbage.
second. That's acceptable at least. Dear God.
So
Yeah, I
you
was
Just
gonna
spent-
ask-
imagine if you were rolling d4s instead of d6s.
Nope, rolling d6 is just rolling like crap.
So you spent
it-
like 3 hours traveling due south, and at that time it became dark. So we're gonna say it's probably around midnight-ish at the time that we're currently at when you take your short rest. Calder catches his breathing a little bit. What are other folks doing during this short rest
I thought we were aiming for a long rest.
or long rest? I'm good either way. What are we up to?
I thought we were setting up for a short rest, but because the long rest I'm just healed. But
That's
Oh,
fair.
I'm complaining that my tent isn't here.
Yeah, we don't have our. How cold is it out now that it's like midnight?
We're looking at kind of late summer, early autumn. This is a fairly temperate region, so it doesn't get too cold, especially with all the tree cover providing insulation. So it's not like bitingly cold, but you're definitely going to want to like not just sleep out under the stars.
I have a thing I want to try. I'll take several bundles of wood and some dry kindling, and then I will meta magic.
No, 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 no!
No
Do
fire.
not start fire. Fire makes smoke. You don't think those orcs are
Fire
going to
only
be
makes smoke
interested
if you
in
burn
smoke?
things that make smoke.
Wait,
I
what?
don't even strictly. I don't need the kindling. It can just
Okay,
burn them.
so Charlotte, fire, if you burn things like leaves
No, no, makes
or
smoke, yes.
moss, it makes like a visible indication of where you are. Of course, it is also nighttime.
The
and
light is going to.
The
be
light
up.
is probably going to be more of an issue than the smoke.
Besides, don't you have? And Charlotte's going to take a second and like think about it. Don't you have prestidigitation? No, aren't you? Isn't that one of your capabilities?
No,
No.
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 I can control. I can.
That was
control
one
flame,
of
But I need.
Clarion's
my-
thing.
Yes. My thinking was I was just going to meta magic my frostbite to deal fire damage,
You can do
Well,
that.
and then I was going to use the control flame cantrip to like spiral it up into an actual fire.
You can absolutely make a fire with your magic if that is your aim.
And they're
You know,
cantrips.
we could just use the tinderbox instead.
The wet
Yeah,
tinderbox.
Yes, but this literally costs me nothing.
It's wet.
It has been in water 5 hours ago. It's not wet anymore.
also,
but I do
do
think
know.
that trying to make a fire is still bad.
Yeah,
Still
I don't.
dangerous in this situation. I would not do that.
I
Not
mean,
that- they don't need to see new smoke, new light.
and do we really need the warmth that badly to risk the light?
Have extra clothes. I don't know if they fit. But
Who's got food?
I've got
I
food.
do. I still
still
have
got-
rations.
You've still got a
Yeah.
bunch of your field rations, right? Okay, cool. Just making sure. I don't normally track rations, but I'm just being thorough. Your bags
also-
are probably
I've been
pretty well
deliberate.
waterproofed, so I'm gonna say that your stuff isn't ruined by your trip through the water or anything like that.
And even if
I
it
have
was
been-
like soggy, I can mend it back to not being.
I've been deliberately using like spending a ration every long rest we've been doing, like a good player.
Mhm.
Nice. Good. Except for when you were eating grick or something like that.
Yes.
I didn't eat the grick. That was gross. No.
And so during this, did we settle on a short rest? Or did we settle on a long rest?
Long rest to not risk exhaustion. Yes. Is my vote.
The first level of exhaustion sucks. Like any level of exhaustion sucks. I would just rather minimize our exposure if at all possible. But
And after
You
everything
want
you've been
to
through,
keep warm. You cuddle.
yeah, and after everything you've been through, I imagine like 12 solid hours of sleep is something most of you really, really want. So you
Well,
set up the alarm spell.
Yes. And what kind of? These are deciduous trees, right?
Yes.
The kind of trees that lose their leaves in the
Yes.
cold. Okay.
They're not
I'm
they're
going.
not quite turning yet. Like we're right at the end of summer. So like
Yeah.
you're starting to see some brown in the leaves, but it hasn't
So-
like become widespread yet.
Yeah, so there's plenty of leaves left on all the branches.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
I am going to cast Unseen Servant again. Hello, Stuart. Thank you for coming back. Please make us a lean-to.
Oh, right, no problem. It says in
It
Air
doesn't
Elemental, it doesn't speak. Okay,
speak. It doesn't speak.
so it goes
Just
off, and
It
and
just
you,
does it.
you
Yeah.
start to see like some sticks start to be kind of stacked together, like it's trying to put something together, and it gives up for a second. Then it begins to build a little bit of a shelter in a. We'll say there's a copse of trees nearby that are growing close together, and he's able to sort of fashion out of twigs and leaves and branches and stuff a nice little shelter for you to go in while you all are talking.
Keeps the heat in. Thank you,
And
Stuart.
diffuses smoke.
And would block the light from most of the directions. Can we say that he built it in the direction we're pretty sure the orcs are from us?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the only light will go like south and away.
I just looked at the Unseen Servant spell, and it's like you can definitely use it to commit arson,
Oh, hell yeah. It can perform simple tasks that a human
like
servant
lighting
could.
fires.
It specifically says like lighting fires. Yes.
It says like you can use it to commit arson.
Yeah, it's a tiny, invisible, sightless, silent thing that can light fires.
Medium-sized. It's not tiny.
Oh yeah, medium-sized, invisible, silent thing that starts fires.
It can also sew
And
clothes
pours
together.
you wine.
It can get you your slippers.
Do we have any scenes, any conversations, anything that we want to do during
do.
this long rest?
I do want to spend the time to ritually identify the dagger.
So the dagger is actually a fairly easy one. You need to study the dagger. You pull it from its sheath, and the first thing you see is Durgaden's mark. And the second thing is in your mind, as you're holding it, you hear, "Finally, I was wondering when you were going to
I
unsheath
drop
me."
it.
What are you doing? And the voice fades from your mind the moment you let go. You hear a, no, wait, don't. And then it hits the ground.
Did you all hear that?
Are you okay?
Here's what?
Was
Side
it
note.
speaking in Dwarven?
Do you speak, does Charlotte speak Dwarven?
I do speak
Yes,
Dwarven,
it
yes.
was in Dwarven, absolutely.
Okay. I heard a dwarf speaking in my head.
I didn't hear anything.
Can I cast? Can I take a look at? I would like to perception check to make sure there is no dwarfs around.
Go ahead and make a perception check. I'm not even going to pull up the table.
It's
What was-
utterly pointless, but yes.
Go ahead and
That
roll
would
that.
be, she would be starting to look because she's like, I'm sorry, you heard a dwarf. We need to find this dwarf. I didn't hear this dwarf. What is wrong?
You get a 24. There are definitely no dwarves in the area. However, you
Hold on,
do
what
see
was-
a particularly plump squirrel that you think might make a really good meal.
Yes. Can I shoot it?
Yes, but let me talk to Gail first. What's up?
I think Em was saying that Lore was doing something in an immediate reaction.
Oh,
what I was hearing.
Laura is like leaned up against a tree trying to basically sleep. I was actually wondering why you keep slipping in and out of an accent.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't notice if I've been doing it.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
Not on purpose.
Maybe a little bit.
Just a little bit. Like you're going slight generic British.
Obviously, Charlotte's just really all kinds of messed up in the head from all of the trauma and physical exertion. Go ahead and roll me just a generic attack roll, Kretha.
With my crossbow?
Yeah, and just roll it into the chat. You don't have to target anything.
Well, yeah, it'd be a little difficult to target anything. No, I missed that squirrel.
So you thought you could get the squirrel. You shoot it, you miss it, it jumps, but you're a 5th level ranger at least, so you do get to take a second shot. As it's running away, you get one more to try to make up for your miss.
To make up for my miss.
And you manage to skewer it on the second one.
Awesome. I go pick up my first crossbow and I pick up the squirrel on the crossbow and I come back in and go, there are no dwarves, but anybody hungry? Squirrel is best when fresh.
How fresh?
I hate that I know that. I hate that I know that that's true.
But I mean, I just killed it, and then we just open it. And
I've
do
never
you want
had
the heart? The heart is the best. It might even still be beating.
never had squirrel. Does it taste like rabbit?
Tougher, but
Tougher.
kind of.
Kind of gamey, but still good. It's big and fat. Look at this.
I can't.
That's
I'll believe you though.
I forgot. Okay, that's all right. Here, I bring it over to you. You can touch it.
Oh, thank you.
It's a
Gross.
dead
Let's
squirrel
just-
swirled.
The
crossbow.
bolt sticking out of it.
Holding it out to you. It's a squirrel and a
Mm.
I do have something I was saving that I think is appropriate here.
What's up, Jeff?
I will, from my pack, will retrieve a bottle of fine wine.
It managed to make it through. Unlike me, where I accidentally had a bottle of wine that I bought crack in my backpack while I was walking home, and that sucked.
Oh,
Got
that's so sad.
red wine all over everything. Yeah, it was pretty awful.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Calder dresses in dark colors and burgundy.
So you break out some wine.
Yeah, Calder will use like the tin cups from everyone's ration bags, and will pour everyone some wine.
Yeah, and you're able to find yourself a nice sort of cozy little camp. This is in fact the most peaceful you've felt in a while. In what seems like months, even though it's probably only been days. It
I
really
figure that
feels
feels like as long as we've been in there.
this is a real thing. Like when you are in situations that are very intense and very, very emotional, a lot of the time your brain actually sort of extends those memories out so it seems like more than it was. I've had games that I like, role-playing games that I felt lasted for days when they only lasted for a few hours. So yeah, it definitely feels like it's been a very, very long time. You're all pretty exhausted. You find yourself a nice, comfortable place to bed down. You cook yourself some rabbit some squirrel, along with the rations that you've been using to make, I don't know, oat mash or whatever it is adventurers eat,
Jerky.
and jerky. And
Oh,
then
I was gonna say.
what else? What else?
Charlotte is from a wine family. Just with the sip, can she tell what kind of vintage it is?
Oh my god, that sounds like a history check. Roll it now.
I literally just bought it because it's listed as fine wine. It's literally the most expensive bottle of wine that's available in the player's handbook.
It teased me with that 20.
You are pretty sure that Calder got scammed, but you might be too polite to say anything about it.
No, I'm gonna say it. Oh wow, you paid too much for this. Or the heat from your spells ruined it while it was in your pack.
Either is possible. Either way, it has alcohol.
True.
That much is true.
So, steeled by alcohol, Charlotte's gonna try to pick up the dagger again.
Please don't drop me again. Please?
The dwarf voice is coming from the dagger.
Really?
Not dropping me again. Okay, thank you.
Wait, dropping you?
Me, yes.
Charlotte is speaking in Dwarven to the dagger.
And
Are you
I'm the only one who
alive?
understands.
Well, that's a matter of some definition.
She just asked if it was alive.
I'm going to say technically no.
Are you another dwarven ghost?
Are you another
Closer.
person?
Much, much closer. My name is Durgadin.
What? She drops the dagger again.
So real quick question here. Is Charlotte talking out loud to the dagger?
Yeah, the
That's
dagger,
why I'm translating.
the dagger
It's
is
so much
responding
funnier.
telepathically, so none of you can hear the dagger, but you do hear her questions in Dwarven to the dagger, yes.
Am I the only one who doesn't speak Dwarven?
No,
No,
Calder
I don't-
doesn't speak Dwarven either.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
just me and...
but Calder is just
Beefo.
treating it as like, yep, someone's going to have to explain this to me in a minute.
Okay, cool.
As Charlotte rushes to pick it back up, she says in common to everyone, apparently it's possessed by Durgadin.
Oh,
Then in Dwarven, I'm so sorry about that. When you say Durgadin, you mean the Durgadin, right?
I don't think any others were born before me. I don't know about since. It's been a while. I've been sitting in that godforsaken dragon's hoard for quite some time.
How did you end up in a dagger?
Oh, yes, of course. There's a flash of light, and suddenly there's like a 10-pound great axe in your hands.
And she drops it just because she's a weak wizard this time.
Wait, no, I didn't mean to. Again, the contact goes off as soon as you drop it.
Do we
She's
see that it
liter-
turns into
she's
a great axe?
Yes, the
Literally
rest of you
holding a
do see
great
the
axe,
transformation.
not a vision. Yeah, like everyone will kind of. I will jump back at that at the appearance of a giant great axe.
Pick it back up.
It reverts back to a dagger as you pick it up.
Okay. Sorry about the dropping you thing.
It's quite rude, you know.
Yeah, well, you got suddenly heavy out of nowhere. I'm not a warrior.
I was wondering for myself, should we go back to the dragon fort?
Please don't give me to the goblin.
Her name is Kretha.
Although there is something oddly familiar about her.
Yeah, she had a close encounter of, is that the third kind or the second kind, with your left-hand man?
Is there getting as depressed as the other one? Because we might need to...
I
The other
turns
one
and
was
says in
very
common.
sad.
He doesn't sound sad so much as just annoyed I keep dropping him.
You mean Arundel? Did he survive the whole madness?
Very shortly.
Hmm.
And madness is a weird turn of phrase to...
The madness
Yeah.
of what happened in... Yes.
Okay, I'm not gonna drop you,
Thank you.
but I don't want to... Hold on, just and gently sets him down. Let's go, and turns to everyone else that is speaking in common. Guys, what? That's... I don't know if it's like an anchor for his soul or if he's possessing the actual thing. I've dropped it so many times. You need to keep physical contact to cast Identify, and I've stopped casting it at this point.
Does it talk to anyone? And Kretha reaches out to touch it.
Unhand me! How dare you! Wait,
I just
Is
like
that
I went
you,
like this
Arundel?
and like it's just a finger.
those are the exact... He goes, wait, unhand me, you foul... Wait, Arundel?
He's not here anymore, but he was here for a little while. He now his bones next to your bones, but and he like went off and was very happy and it was very nice. Why are you stuck in this thing? How it happened?
I don't understand anything you're saying. Wait, go back. You had Arundel's ghost. Arundel possessed a goblin.
Yes.
I'm just saying,
I know, it was
a good-
weird.
A good dwarf, a good proud dwarf, inhabits a blade or perhaps some sort of hammer when their soul dies. Not a
Rita,
goblin.
why does your face say this motherfucker's a racist?
Calder will sit next to. Will be sitting actually pretty close to Lauren. Will will place the alcoholic beverages in between them.
If you brought some peace to his soul, then I thank you.
You're welcome. So this is a thing you do deliberately?
No, this was not the plan. The plan was to die heroically surrounded by the corpses of my enemies. But
I mean, technically you are surrounded by the corpses of your enemies. That did happen.
I did
I
indeed.
know, because we laid down Arenda's bones next to you with all the corpses of the enemies. It was in that little chapel. I mean, it was
did.
very heroic.
I did indeed, yes. But when an artist, or a smith, perhaps, puts enough of themselves into their work, apparently something of themselves lives on after the fact. I don't know everything about it. I've had quite a long time to think about it, but sadly have not come to any conclusion other than that I miss having arms.
I could see that. I could see.
Charlotte will lean over and also put a finger on a different part of the... Like, can we both hear you now?
Don't be rude.
This is a very
we got enough
curious
room.
sensation. But yes, you are both able to hear.
Nice.
I feel like we're touching like the
You're like,
planchette of a Ouija board together.
Yes. Yes.
So good.
So you turned into a very heavy weapon and then back into a dagger. Could you turn this vessel into any sort of weapon?
I suppose I could try. Did you have one in mind?
She needs a new staff. She's blind.
No, wait.
But also, though, yes.
Well, yes, but I don't know if you've ever made a cane used for sensing.
Suddenly,
walking
it's
for a
a
blind
really
person?
big, massive, like morning star. Like a two-handed, like large-size morning star. You're like,
Charlotte feels
close.
why that's
Don't
not
think that's
quite.
right. Maybe a spear. Try a spear, but less pointy.
Charlotte leans
No,
away.
I've seen some very nice staffs
Less
that
pointy,
are
I don't
very,
think the
very
dwarf
good.
understands.
Something really well balanced. Come on, you say craftsman. You can
yes,
do
it
I
shifts
have faith in
again.
you.
It shifts again into a spear that's roughly like 5.5 feet long, from tip to tip. It is very sharp. It is very pointy, and it ends not in a like pointy thrusting blade, but in more of a kind of Guando style sort of slashing weapon at the very end of the staff.
So a lance.
Once again, as with all of them, the mark of Durgadin is on the blade near to where it connects to the haft.
Okay, well that's certainly useful.
Test
Um,
it,
and
test it,
amazing.
test it.
And what? Okay, like
Test
pick
it. I'm going to let you go now, Durgadin.
I am stuck.
She's going to
Out of
test
respect,
it.
out of respect for the dead, I am holding back my commentary. So
You wouldn't understand what Durgadin's saying anyway.
what my comment has nothing to do with whatever the dwarf is saying.
I was gonna say the whole like the shaft and the blade is made out of metal, right?
Yes,
So it's way too heavy
it's very heavy.
for what Charlotte would use a cane for.
It's definitely not too heavy to
has
wield in
no
battle, but
idea.
it's not like it's not a walking stick. No.
Rita thinks she's doing so well.
Well, thank you. I have a particular craftsman who's made me my canes throughout my life, and it's a wooden thing. It has to be light. It's fine. I don't need you to replace it. I have a question for you specifically.
So hard.
Here comes the dwarf nerd.
What do you want us to do with this weapon you're possessing? Because you didn't like being part of a dragon sword. I don't imagine most people would. But like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What is this existence to you?
Nice.
I mean, I really only had 2 major goals when I was alive: to create incredible weapons and armor, and to kill orcs. Anything that involves either or both of those would be great with me. I'm just glad to be out and about again. Black dragons smell really bad after a while. I don't know if you know this, but that acid of theirs has a very, very, very pungent odor, and it layers on top of itself over years. Yes, I can smell even though I don't have a nose.
Odd. Can you see?
After a fashion, I can see you.
Weird.
You probably see
Can
who
you-
he's in contact with.
I don't want to know the answer to that one. I'm not asking that one. All right. So I should probably find a warrior to give you to who is going to then do mighty dwarven deeds and things and would probably be a better carrier of a weapon. I don't usually attack with weapons. I'm of the same profession as Arundel was. I'm a wizard.
We haven't gotten a translation in a bit.
I'm just asking like his 5-year plan.
Okay. Does he know anything about the boulder shoulders?
I I don't know if do you know anything about Clan Boulder Shoulder? Were they around when you were around? That was a while ago.
I recall a young man by the name of Billiam Boulder Shoulder. But he was a young lad, didn't have a beard yet. He, I believe, evacuated early when the Stone Tooth was under siege.
That lines up with Boulder Shoulder.
That's right. I said Billiam, just to make sure there's
Yes.
no confusion.
I'm writing it down. Billiam.
I'm just gonna have to get you like a lexicon of baby names for the letter B.
Philidor.
Not forget Ron Weasley's middle name, Bilious.
Bilious
I mean,
would
I
have
was
been
gonna
a
say-
good one also.
Balder, but that's a different thing in this context.
The Boulder Shoulder is the founder of the Boulder Shoulder.
All right. So, the current leader of Clan Boulder Shoulder is the one who sent us into the forge to investigate. So we need to report back to him what we found. So he'll probably be chuffed as hell to find out that a part of your consciousness is lived on in a weapon.
I
The good
will
chuff,
say,
not the bad chuff, right?
Yes.
I will say, seeing those gray bastards, hearing those gray bastards making deals with the dragon and using the forge again got me pretty fucking pissed off. So I hope you really just killed the hell out of all of them.
Charlotte's going to.
We have good news.
Charlotte, because at this point, Kretha has let go, right? It's just Charlotte holding
Kretha
on.
let go because Kretha was so excited that she might have a new staff. And
All right, so Charlotte is going to turn the staff sideways and hold it up over the ground, and she says, "All right, so if we're going to continue this conversation, I'm going to need you to stop being racist, or I'm going to drop you again."
Oh. Don't do that. I just got out here.
All right, so
Calder swoons a bit.
I know that you don't have great history with people who looked like the people who were currently using your forge, but let's not make any snap judgments on people's appearances, huh?
All right.
Sets it back up. Okay, so
We get the
let's-
racist talk done.
Hopefully,
We've had a bad couple of days. I'm not above leaving an ancient dwarven relic in the middle of nowhere.
so my plan currently is to get you to King Boulder Shoulder, and whatever he plans for the forge, I'm sure your knowledge of it and how it was constructed and how you used it will be invaluable to him. Does that sound all right with you?
Well, yes. Yes, it does.
All right. I'm going to, if you could turn back into a dagger, I'll put you back in the sheath for safekeeping. And, yeah, we'll get you to the King Boulder Shoulder.
It does indeed shrink back. Oh, and yes, one last thing before I sever communication. He dumps knowledge of what kind of magical item he is into your head. In addition to the shape-shifting power, it is a +2 weapon, and also functions as a belt of dwarven kind on any non-dwarf that holds it.
+2 weapon, belt of dwarf. Oh no! Is Shirley gonna wake up with a beard?
No, I don't
That is
think
what
that's
happens
how
with
that
dwar-
works.
With Belt
Although
of Dwarven Kinds.
I'm not going to say no if that's a thing that you decide you want to do.
It says there's a 50% chance of each dawn growing a full beard if you are capable of growing one.
Hold on, I'm looking it up as well.
Charlotte is a human. Most humans
Okay,
are genetically
so,
capable of growing a beard.
So it gives you a bonus if you attune to it. It gives you a Constitution score increases by 2 up to a maximum of 20. You get an advantage on persuasion checks made to interact with dwarves, and when attuned, you have a 50% chance each day at dawn of growing a full beard if you're capable of growing one. If you aren't a dwarf, you gain the additional benefits. Blah blah blah. You have dark vision. You can read, write, and speak Dwarvish. You have advantage on saving throws against poison. So yes, if you attune to it, we will indeed have to deal with the 50-50 chance of waking up with a full, luxurious beard.
Charlotte's
I
not
will,
gonna
actually,
not
I will
gonna
note.
attune to it. She'll
I
put
will
it back
note
in the sheath.
the note of attuning to it happens after the clause of growing a full beard. It just says while you're wearing it.
Well, she puts it back
Yeah.
in the sheath for now. And yeah, no, she said she was gonna keep safekeeping. She's gonna belt that onto her belt.
Yep.
Technically wearing it.
Yep. But not touching it with like hands or making like skin to metal contact.
What else are we up to? Are there any other scenes, any other conversations that we want to have while we are getting ready for this long rest?
Can I have some more of that wine?
Calder will break out the second bottle he has. I came prepared for the post party, for the post drink, for the post dungeon drinking. I made the mistake of not bringing it last time.
Charlotte's gonna commit the faux pas of chugging wine. Set down the cup and then address Calder. So hey, what the hell did you mean by we work for Tiamat?
Lying through my teeth to a giant dragon.
As a quick note,
Am I really going to be judged for lying to a dragon that wanted to eat us? What?
as a quick note to the folks watching, I will mention that it was something that Calder said as they were trying to negotiate passage from the Black Dragon last session.
But like, how are we supposed to pull that lie off? Like, what if the dragon had been like, great, perform this dark ritual for me. You're obviously cultists of Tiamat. Like, where was the follow through on that?
I may have some knowledge of those things.
What?
I am well studied on bad things.
Things that you should have started are like relationship with, just in general. Hey guys,
first
we're
off,
going to be adventuring
were the
together. By
horns
the
not
way,
subtle
I may or
to
may
what
not
my
be a
upbringing
cultist
was
of
like?
Tiamat.
Yeah, you weren't raised by other tieflings, as far as my knowledge is. You were raised by humans.
Look, just because
I
your
was
dad decided
raised-
to fuck a demon because he was bored doesn't mean that you're automatically evil.
Laura, that
No.
is singularly the nicest thing you have ever said to me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It was a beautiful moment. We're gonna go back to the point where you say that you were raised or had contact with cultists during your childhood.
I have met and have been forced to have proximity to cultists. Yes.
Of Tiamat?
Of various things.
It's nice we're getting to know each other so well.
Wait, no. What?
Not strictly Tiamat, but in proximity of.
So what you're saying?
proximity of.
Wait, hold up. So what you're saying is that the dragon said, "Dope, perform this like horrible, bad Tiamat-based ritual." There was like a 50-50 chance that you wouldn't have been able to pull it off.
Well, if it my go-to plan is if it wanted us to perform a ritual, it would have been a living creature's sacrifice, and my answer to that would have been fireball.
I
Is
respect
that how you perform a living creature sacrifice?
I wasn't going to sacrifice any of you to a black dragon.
Look, I've read romance novels, and I'm pretty sure that's not how you perform a living creature sacrifice. Because romance novels are full of that shit.
No, I thought you threw into volcano, but you know, it's eerie. Fireball is hot, and you get hot enough, it burns.
If it was my go-to plan, if it demanded a sacrifice in the name of Tiamat, was to cast a spell. It didn't demand a sacrifice, so the point is moot.
No, I'm just.
So confused.
I
No,
understand the
Calder's
ruse.
my smile is entirely in character. Calder's laughing at this.
I understand the ruse now. You had some knowledge to back it up. I'm just now more concerned about the fact that you had the knowledge to back it up.
Charlotte, you're saying that like you haven't gone through books in like the forbidden section of the Library of Blackstaff.
No, I have. But
I
most of those books were taken from cults that the warriors and wizards of Blackstaff and Waterdeep took out.
Yup.
My relationship with my heritage is complicated. Okay.
Complicated.
You keep
is a
saying
word.
heritage. Are you telling us that your father is involved with these cults?
No,
I
I'm
mean,
saying
he
that my
did
mother
fuck a
wasn't.
demon.
I'm
He did
saying
fuck
my
a
mother
demon
wasn't a
for
tiefling.
fun.
I don't understand why you're so shocked. He has the horns.
He has the horns. That doesn't necessarily mean that his immediate father fucked a demon.
Oh no, he specifically stated that multiple times.
That's-
He's
that
about
is
to
in
correct
fact-
us in that it was a devil, not a
critical-
demon.
Thank you. But yes,
But-
my father didn't fuck a tiefling. He fucked a devil.
I thought that was just a really nasty rumor spread about
No.
who your mother was.
That is weirdly, that's the more kind rumor.
Ah,
Weirdly enough, he
Because
never denied it.
because the story that's spread around is my father, in a fit of horny morning, boned a tiefling
Well-
prostitute.
and
You
again,
must be incredible at parties.
Oh, I'm
He's
fantastic.
not.
well, it's more, any sort of magical dealing with devils might down the genetic line result in a tiefling. It doesn't have to be the immediate predecessor. That's it. We don't have to get into that.
My mother is a
I'm
devil, though,
curious.
so it is.
I'm
All
curious as to why he doesn't have more things fucked up about him.
Apparently, he was raised partially by a cult, so I think he does.
Well, no, I mean, you only have what, one set of horns? Are your feet hooves? Because you wear boots like a normal person.
I do wear boots like a normal person because I do.
But are your
have
feet hooves though?
No, actually, weirdly, my feet are actually healed. It's weird.
You have extra bonus teeth?
I do actually.
Let me see.
I'll pull up and I'll tug the side of my cheek, and we'll show that the back molars of the that the humans have there. Calder doesn't have. There's just rows of sharp teeth.
I mean, I have rows of sharp teeth. What does that matter? And she pulls her mouth.
Yeah, goblins
but
just like row and row and row.
Goblins have shark mouth.
Yeah,
At
basically.
this
Like
point,
sharks, yeah.
grand reveal. Calder will sigh and then will adjust his back, and a long, sinuous, coppery tail will emerge from his cloak.
Okay, so far we have gone over. You have 2.5 bits that every single tiefling I have ever met has. You're not the only tiefling I have met. I want to throw that out there. So you seem basic and normal and not, like I said, fucked up enough to look like your mama was the source of the tiefling bloodline bit. Like if you had and then wings and then extra bonus horns and then also your
You mean,
fingertips ended in a different color or some shit.
You mean like if he was straight half devil?
Yeah, like if he was straight half devil.
This is so relaxing.
Meepo is
I feel like there should be more.
Meepo
Calder
seems
Calder is fine. I'm drunk enough. He'll stand up and start pulling off his robes.
Do you have
Uh,
scales? Do you have
Do
scales?
it!
When Calder
from your tail
when
and then,
Calder
off your
finally
back? I
reveals
gotta know.
peels off his shirt, his skin is in fact partially scaled. He has
Okay.
vestigial wings underneath above his shoulders.
Do they flap? Can you make them flap?
They can't flap. I can
Why
stretch
not?
them. I can stretch them though, and I will do so.
So they.
they're not
They're
they're not like wings. They're like little wings. Like
Well, yeah, but little.
I
wings
am
can
very
flap. They're
young,
like
as
little
devils
wings.
measure time. If I get old enough, they might grow.
I like that if I get old enough.
Yeah, Charlotte's gonna reach for the bottle and just drink from the bottle.
I'm gonna be
like, you're
vividly
blind. You can't see
describing
any of it.
everything.
No,
that
no,
Charlotte-
but-
Charlotte
but-
knows what's happening.
I was gonna say Scoots is relaying the general
Yeah.
gist.
Yeah, but Laura's doing it half drunkenly.
And Calder's doing this full drunkenly, so
Now do a little turn.
I will on one condition.
Vogue, 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 Vogue.
Do it!
On one condition.
What is that condition? We have coin.
I will scratch the base of my horns. These are itching me all to hell. I need someone strong to help me remove them.
Remove
Wait, what?
your horn?
My horns molt.
Yeah,
They
okay.
fall out.
Yeah, okay.
I
Sure.
thought to
Give,
say if they melt.
Charlotte, give me
that's-
that dagger.
You shouldn't. I just need someone to pull at the right angle. Okay. That's
Charlotte,
all
give me
I
that
need.
dagger.
I
No.
do not give half drunk Lore that dagger.
Give me the dagger. It'll be fine. Let me have the dagger. Come on.
What? Can't hear you.
I'm gonna scramble on Charlotte to grab the dagger.
Charlotte's
Teresa,
gonna drunkenly bat you away.
Do you actually, and this is something I'm going to let you all decide, does Lore actually manage to get a finger on the dagger?
I think you should do. I think this is
both really
contested
drunk,
dex
so-
checks
I feel
at
like we need to
disadvantage.
toss dice at each other.
I'm
Yeah,
there.
contested dex checks at disadvantage.
At disadvantage
Sure.
because you both drunk.
I am scrambling for that dagger. I'm a good scramble boy.
Dex
okay?
checks at disadvantage. Wow.
Fuck yeah! Oh no!
Oh,
Wow
I have
and
my token,
wow.
though. You have no idea how close that was.
So I'm going to say
Wow.
that yes, Charlotte manages to keep Lore at bay. However, Lore does manage to get like a couple of fingers on the dagger for a moment. And in that moment, Lore's patron basically says, "Do not touch that." Like in your head, loud, booming, the moment you make contact, you feel Durgadon's presence for a moment, and then your patron says, "Do not touch that."
Okay. I'm taking a will save here.
That looks like a failure. That's a 10.
Yeah, Charlotte's fine. Lore is 20 feet away and completely sober.
Oh, you did your little.
So instantaneously touches it, sobers up instantly, and backs off 20 feet.
Are we okay?
I mean, I haven't drunkenly wrestled with another drunken person in a while, not since Waterdeep. Lore? Dirt.
That's
Are you alright?
Are you okay, Laura?
You want me to pull your horns off?
Yes, please.
I'm gonna pull
Charlotte.
his horns off.
Is drunkenly
It'll be me.
giggling.
I'll say it'll be slightly painful, so enjoy that.
Okay.
What do you want from me?
Let's make it
Just-
a
An unarmed strike.
I guess a strength check. It's not going to be a difficult one.
I was just
though.
gonna say just like an unarmed strike.
It's gonna punch them off of you.
You're gonna rip them off.
It's
No,
it's a wrenching grab.
yeah.
all it is.
Let's go ahead and let's make it an athletics check, and I'm gonna go ahead and give you advantage.
Sure. I'm a willing recipient of this.
Can I use my hexblade bullshit with it?
Yes.
Let me rephrase. Instead of making it an athletics strength check, can I make it an athletics charisma check?
Sure. Let's go ahead and do that.
Do my horns count as pointy objects for the sake of that explain?
I'm gonna actually. I think we have a
We have an advantage at the moment. I
we
think.
have an advantage in the thing. I'm gonna use that one instead of the free one you gave me because
'Kay.
it's funnier.
Lionar, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Make sure to check the end of the VOD. So you put your leg up on a rock.
No,
And
I
you-
put my leg up on Calder's chest.
And you pull and you yank, and his head is kind of wrenching around a bit, but the horn does not detach.
I don't think you're
You-
doing that right. Do
You manage
need
to give Calder a bit of a crick in his neck, but you're not able. You're kind of trying to twist it a little bit, and he's like my neck doesn't quite bend that way, Lore.
Okay, I let go. I like spit in my hands and try to get some like a good like a gripping. And I'm gonna grab like which one are we going like left or right first? Because I
Both.
think I'm gonna grab the wrong
They're
one.
both ready to come out.
Okay, I'm gonna grab them both at the same time.
Oh God.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna like frog march him to a tree, and I tell
can
him to
help you with
hold
that.
on to the tree.
Calder will do so. He'll brace himself on his legs and like lean as far as
I'm
he can
going
against
to,
the
like
tree,
I said, I'm
grabbing it.
going to brace myself on his chest, and we're gonna do this again.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do this again. I swear to God, this is going to be hilarious if it doesn't succeed again.
Yes, with or without disadvantage.
You have done quite enough
Well,
to
should
give
get
yourself
a one.
advantage given the setup that you've gone through here.
Oh my god!
What? What?
Okay, wait. Let me
Wow.
narrate that it was successful. I did get a 1, but I am gonna say that I ended up stabbing myself with both of the horns. Like we pulled them off his head, but they like are in my shoulders.
Okay.
Not even
you
not like a little
tumbled
bit
backwards,
in,
and
like,
in that
full
tumble,
4
you ended up
inches.
stabbed.
Yeah, like a full 4 inches on each shoulder. I'll take like 2d4 of damage. I figure
Uh,
that seems right. A d4 for each horn.
All right, you can take
Yeah,
six.
that seems reasonable.
You can take 6 points of damage, and I would love for you to describe to me in excruciating detail what does this look like? Like, give me the
It's-
bullet time, like play by play.
Okay, so, actually, Jeff, would you like to describe how Calder sees it, and then I will flesh in with Lore's side.
Calder has a boot against his chest. He's like grabbing a tree. He's anticipating this because he's done this before. He's like he has his eyes braced. He's resisting the pain because he feels it being lifted off of the vestigial segments underneath the skin, and then with a violent, almost wet pop, like they both come free at the same time.
Oh, they're still stuck in it.
It's like, and there are like tiny, like cartilaginous bits, like right where the horns were, and that's like where the horns naturally grow from, like little horned nibs.
No.
So like like Laura has pushed Calder up against the tree, has gotten like a solid like foot up like on his chest, and then like as she pulls the second like leg goes up because she's jumping backwards with it, and the leg on his chest is to keep him against the tree so he doesn't come flying because that'd be fucking awkward.
I'm okay with taking the same amount of damage that Lore takes from like Burnham.
So here's the
being
thing: Laura is
thrust
in half plate at this point.
It's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So, like he's still in armor. She weighs like she may be an elf, but she's a solid like almost 250 pound at this point because of the armor.
Yeah.
And so when she pulls back and like she's using him like a springboard, she is jumping using his chest. So yeah, you might like crunch into the wall a little bit. So why we
Yep,
put you up against the
that
tree?
Feels right. Feels right.
Feels right. And it comes back and like it doesn't go for her like neck, but she manages to get right in between. Can you bring my image up again
Yeah.
real quick?
Right where the plates aren't on your
Right
armor.
where the plates aren't like not like in the armpit, but like in that like meaty bit right here where there really isn't any bone.
Like
It's all
right
just
at
cartilage.
the shoulder segment, like the shoulder. Like,
Yeah.
coordinator cuff segment.
Like both of them, and they like your horns are a solid like 5-6 inches.
They're like
long,
they're
and
like
we're
they're supposed to be like the spiral like.
they're the
Iron Man.
spiral
Impala.
boys, right?
Yeah.
We get a solid like 4 inches in, not all the way through the shoulder, but most of the way in. So like this is gonna be
So
a problem in a bit. Laura also can't move her arms from this position. They're
Like
just like sticking out.
like
As
stabbing
Charlotte
yourself with a
hears-
corkscrew.
Charlotte heard the of Calder getting shoved in, and then the
Laura, Laura also like after she jumped backward, kind of like landed on the ground and skidded a bit, and probably like bonked a head on a rock.
Oh.
Probably close to around like Stinky. My visuals is that she ended up sliding like directly like slightly under Stinky.
Oh no.
Charlotte just goes, "Did it work?"
Oh my god! Oh, by the gods, that feels so much better. He'll
Are
rub
you-
his head, forehead.
Are you two
Oh.
all right? That was
Lord, did
Oh.
it work?
stinky.
Laura, are you
all right?
okay?
Ow!
And I go
Ow!
over.
Fuck! Ow!
Oh god!
Fuck!
I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Oh,
Oh dear.
Mistra.
You seem to have acquired his horns.
What?
They're sticking
Laura's-
out of her.
Meepo, help!
Meepo will sort of nonchalantly and casually, with glowing hands, yank the two horns out of Lore, not bothering to do the counter rotation with the corkscrew of the
They
of the
didn't
horns.
get rotated in. They just went in.
Just yeah, pulls them out and using the last of his healing power, because he has, I think, 5 points left. You took 6 damage. He will heal the vast majority of that wound. Though it will still definitely leave a couple of little scars, and it's gonna be sore as fuck for a little bit.
Yeah, no shit.
I guess we need to take
I'm
that
sorry.
long rest now.
I'm sorry.
We were
I-
doing a long rest. This is the start of a long rest. It starts
Yeah.
with being drunk,
This is the start of a
accusing somebody
disaster.
of being in a
Calder's
cult.
just like rubbing his head. He's like gets the water and pours it on his forehead like it's the most relieving thing in the world.
So
I
I'm gonna
offer
preface-
Calder one of his
okay.
horns back to scratch with.
Thank you.
I'm going to preface this with saying I don't know if I'm going to be as rude as Kretha by asking this. Do you use the horns for anything after they've detached?
Yes, I was going to ask if I could have one.
I'm going to say yes. When I was very young, when my horns first started coming in, my stepmother would collect them like my baby teeth. And there's like a cabinet in our family room where she keeps them.
That's
Gross.
adorable.
There's
That's a
probably a
little
market
creepy.
for tiefling ivory out there.
I have a
Disgusting.
it's just,
Yeah.
I go through a set once every year or two.
Like a deer.
this-
Are these
You
are
are a
these like,
deer.
are these like deer horns?
Yeah,
Antlers?
they're
Yes.
like
So they're
more like
like-
antelope.
do
I
they
think,
have, like-
kind of?
They're like
Structure.
fuzzy.
Do they
No,
get
they're,
fuzzy?
They're like
When they grow
they're
in,
fuzzy.
they're
They're fuzzy at the base, but they they spiral into something.
So when they grow in, they're fuzzy and stuff.
And
when
you
they
have to,
first
like,
start
get
growing,
the
yes,
fuzzy.
they are fuzzy.
That's
That's-
great.
Even more disgusting.
We have completely different ideas. She's a ranger. Of course, she finds it fascinating.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fine for you because you like weird, gross shit.
yes, I do.
They also get they also get larger, thicker, and stronger with every year.
Do they branch ever?
I don't know. I understand they can.
If you when they're growing in next, if you break them, do you think you could force them to branch?
I
The
don't
same
know.
way
I
that
haven't
people can
tried.
force trees to grow in specific direction. You should do that.
I've
be
never
fun.
tried. I'll consider that.
Do we have anything else that folks want to say or do? Any other conversations that
Like
we
this
want
is
to
like
have?
the first like party bonding moment they've had. So it's just very much a like a laugh
And
track going
required
on.
a bunch
Like-
of alcohol and
As an
trauma.
out of character name, imagine if we had this at the beginning.
Right?
Like
Need to get our party
as they
drunk.
get like a little bit deep, Calder actually right after all, Calder will like walk over to Laura and like will give Laura a brief but sincere hug.
Oh no! Does Lord stab him
Lore is
with
like
his own horn?
Lore
goes
wet
in for it.
fish is wet fish handshakes the equivalent of this hug.
Like stiff, and he backs off. Just
It's not even like stiff,
Yeah,
it's like
we all
floppy
had the same
because
idea.
She's like half asleep at this point. She's been
That's
half
all.
asleep this whole
Lord.
time.
Laura, thank you, and I sincerely apologize for being a Titanic dick in the dungeon.
We're all just waiting.
Laura's like, cool, bro. Am I gonna sleep now?
Yes, I'm going to sleep.
Like, and we never talk of this again.
A little
I don't know
point
what
of
you're talking
order.
about. I was drunk. Nothing happened.
A little
Nothing
point-
happened.
Tiny point
Did
of
you
order.
know that goblins have excellent memory even through hangovers? I'll remember.
I've met Echo. I do not believe you.
Gale.
So as everyone is finally like cuddling under the lean-to for warmth, like as soon as everyone's like actually settled in at last, Charlotte goes, "Fuck!" And in that manner of just when you get comfortable in bed, then you have to pee. Charlotte goes, "I have to fucking redo alarm. It only lasts for 8 hours," and she crawls out and does it again.
Did you already do the swoops thing?
Fuck!
Little Scooch
That's a
peeks his head up.
wonderful-
That
Yeah.
is a wonderful fade to black for sleep.
Laura's standing out in the cold with Charlotte and being like, typical shit. Typical
With
shit.
that, friends, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break. And then we are going to probably have another hour or so of session where we get back to the village, do a little bit of story stuff, maybe set up some epilogue for some characters, because I know that some players are planning on shifting their characters for the next little segment. And then after that, we will do the sort of talkback show where we answer your questions and engage with you a little bit more, say thank you to anybody who subscribes and all that other good stuff. For now, though, thank you very much for being here. We will be back in I am AFK. I love it. We will be back in right around 10 minutes. It's 7:50 p.m. Pacific right now. We should be back right at about 8. Thank you very much for watching so far. We'll be right back.